What do you mean system interchanges? What are you talking about? Connecting freeways is easy. You don't have to do anything. You just do it. Why not? Bada boom. Easy peasy. I mean, yeah, that's working great. I gotta say, whoever invented the roundabout obviously hadn't heard of squares, because squares are the way to go. It's hip to be a square, you could say. No, this is terrible. Don't connect your freeways this way. Please come along with me on a short journey where we check out the system interchanges built into Cities Skylines 2 so that you can help traffic move from freeway to freeway in your city. Cities Skylines 2 actually comes with 10 pre-built interchanges for use in your cities. I've taken the liberty of breaking that list down into 2 distinct categories. Today's video is all about system interchanges. I already did the video about service interchanges, so if you're curious about those, feel free to check out the video. I'll probably link it up here if I'm really clever. But service interchanges are actually for getting vehicles on and off of the freeway, so those are your on and off ramps to connect to local roads in your city, as opposed to today's topic, system interchanges. These are for connecting one freeway to another. Let's actually open up the game, take a look at these interchanges in action, and discuss where some might work better than other interchanges in Cities Skylines 2. Our first system interchange example is one of my personal favorites. This is the Trumpet Interchange. This is a 3-direction freeway connector, and it is only 2 levels high. That's really the feature of it. Using loops, you only need to build it 1, 2 levels high using an overpass. Some of these will be 3 or 4 levels high, which in the real world they get more and more expensive and probably more space consuming as they get more complex construction-wise. But the Trumpet is phenomenal. It is totally free-flowing, which is what you want in a system interchange, so there's no conflict anywhere, provided you use proper lane math on the ends here. So 3 down to 2 with 1 going away, or adding an exit lane, or however you want to do it, but just make sure that you respect the lane math on each of these. You can also choose to convert this into a service interchange if you consolidate this into a single avenue, and that avenue can continue into your city. So it's very versatile, and once again, it's free-flowing, so there's no traffic backup possibility on the Trumpet. Our second interchange today is called the Directional T interchange. This actually shares a lot of similarities with the Trumpet interchange. First and foremost, it is also a 3-direction connecting system interchange. So there's the 1 direction coming in here, and then 2 directions coming out on the other sides. So that's great. It's similar, though it is different for, I would say, 2 primary reasons. The first, and probably most obvious, is that it is 3 levels high. We just spoke about how the Trumpet is only 2 levels high because it uses loops. So this one does not use loops. Instead, it uses flyovers, which you must stack on top of one another. So for that reason, it's a bit more expensive in real life to build one of these, probably marginally more expensive in game. But really, I want to reference real life when I talk about these interchanges to help you make more realistic choices to make better looking cities. The other major difference is that there's no loop down here, which plays into everything I just said. But because of that, there is something of a space-saving measure. So if there's a rail line coming up alongside this, or if there's city butting up to here, or there's an industrial area or something filling this space, maybe you wouldn't want to use the Trumpet to save that little bit of loop space, as those can be quite large in the real world. But other than that, functionality-wise, this one should work just the same as the Trumpet, though it's a bit taller and a bit smaller on the back end. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that there's some crossover between the different types of service and system interchanges, and this is where that crossover really occurs, in my opinion. I've classified the Roundabout interchange before us as a system interchange. My understanding is that in places that use it, generally Europe, I want to say, maybe other places too, but generally Europe. I've not seen one of these in the US ever, at least where I live. This generally counts as a system interchange connecting one freeway to another freeway. The nuance is that in-game, they've decided to use an arterial road here for connecting to your city, and that's okay. There's room for crossover, I think, but my understanding is this is generally a system interchange, which is why I've classified it as such. Now, it is 3 levels high, so there's a lower level that's sunken down, there's the roundabout level in the middle, and then there's an elevated section for through traffic on this arterial here. or you could modify it into a freeway if you wanted to. But what I'll say about the roundabout is that it does take a large hit to capacity because all of the left turns and also right turns currently have to hit the roundabout a little bit. So the right turns could become slip lanes if you wanted to modify this a little bit. I would endorse that, I think. But just the fact that all of the left turning traffic going either direction onto the freeway, they all have to use the roundabout. It's technically free flowing, but the conflict here does reduce capacity. So keep that in mind. With that said, it is nice looking. It is pretty cool. And if you're going to use it stock, I would actually use it as a service interchange to get traffic on and off the freeway, to get it into your city, though it could be modified into a system interchange. That is the 3-level roundabout, or the Roundabout Interchange as it's called in-game. Shown here is the ultimate classic interchange in the Cloverleaf Interchange. Fantastic. This can be used as a system interchange as well, though I think that's typically in places that just haven't upgraded it to something more appropriate, honestly. But the Cloverleaf is the classic. This is the first interchange, the original. It is elegant. It is beautiful in appearance. It is symmetrical on all sides. Very, very nice. And also in-game, I'm really impressed with whoever built this because their lane math was awesome. The way the loops look, the way that the outer slip lane kind of hugs that. Very, very nice overall. Probably one of my favorite examples on this list of system interchanges. Now, a feature, I don't know about feature, a thing that the Cloverleaf does and has is the weave. You'll notice that this truck coming around is going to have to get over, which is okay when there's no one else around, but in situations when there's another vehicle there, they have to cross with one another so that the other party can use the exit. We'll see if an example of that comes up, but the weave, if you've ever used one of these in real life during rush hour, or if there's any amount of traffic coming in the other direction, you know what it's like. You have to negotiate that and navigate that, which does reduce capacity on this design, but that is mitigated because whoever designed this decided to separate the weave on all sides. So this is a full system interchange with the weave separated from the through lanes of the freeway. So that's a very nice appointment, I think. Very well constructed, very elegant. The weave is the only thing that reduces capacity, but it really makes up for it in how cool it looks. A bit space consuming because these loops are sticking out into areas that could be used for something else, but system interchanges are really a feat of car-centric engineering anyway, so they are space consuming to perform their function. So I think that's totally fine. But I give this 2 thumbs way up, except for the weave. The weave I give half a thumb down. So I guess I give it 3.5 thumbs. How many thumbs do people have? Moving on. Here we have our final specimen of the day, and oh, what a specimen it is. This is the Stack Interchange, a 4-level monstrosity. Really the sum of all auto engineering, of all freeway infrastructure design, comes to culminate with this monster. 4 levels high, 1, 2, 3, 4, covered in flyovers, much like the Directional T, but taken to its logical conclusion. This is 4 directions, like many of the previous examples. It's used in places where they cannot afford to have traffic backups on their freeways. So you'll often see these in California, where the highways are huge, and Texas, where the highways are huger and the freeways abound. This is free-flowing in all directions due to the flyover ramps. There's no conflict whatsoever. Just to trace this thing back to its origin and see what happens. If you want to go right on it, like this truck, you can continue straight on the off-ramp, and it'll net you a right turn. If you want to go left, you can take the flyover like these 2 blue vehicles have done, and you'll fly right over the top over here. The flyovers are the upper 2 levels on this one. The order can be changed. It doesn't really matter the order or the fly unders or whatever. The point is that it's completely free-flowing. It is virtually immune to traffic backups as long as there's no collisions on the outside of it. There's no reason for it to back up in-game, all other things being equal. So yeah, that is phenomenal. It is also the largest of all of our examples. The Cloverleaf actually gives it a run for its money, the one we just looked at. So it slightly sticks out from the center there. The loops take up a bit of space, but overall I would say this takes up more space due to the longer ramps needed for the flyovers. So it's perfect in every way for its purpose, but it's also enormous and probably the most expensive interchange in game. Let's do a small roundup on that actually. 4,000 for the Trumpet, 9,000 for the Directional T, so that is rather expensive. The next system interchange is the Roundabout, 7,000 for the three-level Roundabout, 34,000 for the Cloverleaf, which is due to those extra weave ramps that we spoke about last time. I forgot to mention the Cloverleaf is also 2 levels high, so factor that in. But it's crazy expensive in-game due to the amount of roads used. And the stack is 42,000 simoleons. My goodness. And it's enormous. In real life, it's much more than that, I'm sure. I've never bought one personally, but I know some people that have, in the form of state governments. Incredibly expensive, incredibly effective. The stack interchange is not to be ignored when you're picking system interchanges for your city. That is all the system interchanges included in-game. There are others out there in the world. I would direct you to Wikipedia for that. They have an entire article about system interchanges for connecting freeways to one another. So that's a great resource. I intend to build some custom ones moving forward, and hopefully one day I'll be able to share those with you so we have ploppable interchanges that were built by each other in-game. I think that'll be a great community project moving forward. But that's all I've got today on system interchanges. If you haven't checked out the service interchange video for getting cars on and off the freeway, go check that out as well. Also, feel free to come check out a stream. I've been streaming on YouTube and Twitch, so feel free to subscribe or follow and come hang out live. That's all I've got for today. Everyone, thanks for hanging out. I've been Yumble. I'll see you in the next stream or the next video.